Hi, it's Dwyer. It's April 9th, 2025. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Folks, if you haven't seen the end of Joey Spencer against Tszyu, it's a must watch, right? These are the kind of fights that you see what works and you see what doesn't work. You see what the fighter should have done. You see what the fighter did in the moment. You see what the corner did in the moment. You see the breaks the referee's trying to give the fighter who lost, and you realize the fighter who lost just wasn't ready. Joey Spencer had a great shot to beat Tszyu. Let me make a few points here. Financially, as you can imagine, after a couple of losses, the crowd that's gonna be willing to pay to see Tszyu fight in a must-win fight would be the people from his home country, right? But I gotta tell you, and this fight was in Tszyu's backyard, but I gotta tell you, I've seen fighters have problems fighting at home, right? When things are going good and when you're on a win streak and when you're the best thing since sliced bread, you can fight almost anywhere, right? But it's when things are going bad that you start losing friends, that reporters who know you are gonna call you out. Right? It's tough when you know the people and they're doubting you because you lost a couple of fights against credible competition. Right? Murtazaliev might be the best fighter at 154, folks. That was Tszyu's last loss. The loss before that was Sebastian Fundora. Right? Understand, Tszyu's losing to top shelf guys, right? Murtazaliev was the number one contender for years. Think about that, right? So Tszyu's losing to top shelf guys, but of course, you know the way the world works. The question wasn't, wow, these difficult opponents were able to, hang in there with Tszyu in Fundora's case. Right, that fight goes the distance. Catch Tszyu in Murtazaliev's case. That's not the narrative. No, the narrative is always what's wrong with Tszyu, as if anyone is just supposed to dice up 154 pounds. Right, just eat that division. So you have Tszyu. He has a 2-fight losing streak, and he's fighting in Australia. Tough fans, right? Tough fans. If you want to hear tough announcers on local fighters, look at Australian boxing. In fact, all you have to do is look at the recent Keith Thurman fight and hear how they're describing Thurman's opposition. And you're thinking, whoa, who's the hometown fighter here? I thought Thurman's from the United States. Australia is a tough crowd, right? Boxing has some tough places. New York City, Philly, right? I'm telling you, Australia is a tough place. So you have Tszyu fighting at home. Tough crowd that wants to know, Tim, why'd you lose the last 2 fights? Right? That's what they want to know. And he's fighting hard-hitting Joey Spencer. So I'm not one of these people who believes that fighting at home is always a good thing. Right? I see some fighters fighting at home. Anthony Joshua against Jermaine Franklin. Right? And you know the rest. The British press wanted a knockout. Forget the fact that Franklin's hard to knock out. Right? Franklin went the distance against Dillian White. Right? British press wanted a knockout, had expectations of Joshua. No one sees these fighters as human. Joshua's supposed to be a machine. People showed up. Everyone got paid. I think 20,000 people came out for that fight. Joshua is the cash cow of the heavyweight division. But let's stop kidding ourselves. Joshua probably would have faced less pressure fighting in a neutral location. Right? Could have gone to Canada. Would have drawn a crowd. Canada, great boxing community. Right? They would have seen Joshua as a celebrity. Not some guy on top who fell off the mountain. Right? Well, let me say this. Joey Spencer is a better fighter than this showing. This fight makes it to the 4th round. Spencer has a punch. Spencer's really bold. Spencer, on each of the 3 judges' scorecards, wins a round. Right? So it's not like Spencer showed up and is getting blown out. Right? It's not like Spencer showed up and is outmatched from the opening bell. We've all seen those fights. Right? No, Spencer's here. Spencer wins a round. It's the 4th round. Understand, if Spencer wins the 4th round, the fight's tied. Right? Now let me commend Tszyu here. There's a big question in boxing. Right? Every generation has it. You get a guy hurt. Let's say you're a left hooker. You get a guy hurt. Right? The guy is dazed. The guy is confused. It might be temporary. It might be worse than that. What do you do next? Right? You have a lot of guys who will try to throw that left hook repeatedly. Anthony Joshua against Vladimir Klitschko. Look at the tape of that fight. After Klitschko gets off the canvas, I want you to see the number of left hooks that Anthony Joshua throws. Right? Floyd Mayweather. Now Floyd, fairness to him, he's not a combination puncher. Right? Floyd was a pot-shotting counterpuncher. But Floyd, this is obviously tearing me up. This is getting to me. Floyd drops Diego Corrales, right? Battle of unbeatens. Big fight that needs to be remembered. He drops Corrales off a left hook. Corrales gets back up. Mayweather, very fast hands, but not combination punching fast-handed. So what does Mayweather do? Mayweather then picks his spots. Continues to drop Diego Corrales off left hooks. In other words, Mayweather is looking for the left hook opportunities. Right? Corrales having a hard time figuring out that left hook, gets hit so many times that his dad in the corner throws in the towel. Now that's one approach. Right? Whatever my punch is, if it's a left hook, if it's a straight right hand, I hurt the guy, then I'm going to focus on hitting the guy with that punch. But there is, to me, a better way to do it if you have the skill set. And it's the Ray Leonard way to do it. Understand, Ray Leonard, bigger puncher than you remember. Look at the KO percentage. It's over 50%. It's higher than Floyd Mayweather's. Right? And don't kid yourself. Leonard, moved up in weight and was still able to drop light heavyweight champion Donnie Lalonde. Right? Ray had power. But when Ray got you hurt, Ray would jump in the pocket and start using you as a punching bag. He would let both hands go. He would throw a lot of punches. Right? This is the opposite of the, I have a good left hook, I got the guy hurt, I'm going to throw left hooks. Right? No, this is different. This is the, I got the guy hurt, he's confused right now, I'm going to unload with both hands, I'm not going to give the guy an opportunity to clinch me, I'm going to throw volume here. Volume. And the referee is going to look at us. He's going to see the other fighter is defenseless, right? Can't handle my volume. And he might call the fight. Joe Calzaghe is another guy. Joe Calzaghe, Peter Manfredo. Look at that fight, right? The other guy might not even be hurt. He's getting hit with the combination, but the guy throwing the punches is prioritizing speed over power, right? The other guy might not be hurt, but he looks overwhelmed. That's what Tszyu does here, and he does it well. Right? He has a few things working for him. Number one, Joey Spencer is a puncher. But for whatever reason, Joey Spencer doesn't know how to clinch when he's hurt. Right? Number two, Joey is too parallel to Tszyu. Right? You want the fighter who knows how to have his left shoulder, if he's a righty, out in front. You want the fighter who knows how to keep you on a shoulder, who has a free hand back here. So when the referee who's giving Spencer a chance to throw something, understand the ref is talking to Spencer as Tszyu is throwing a combination. Right? Tszyu has both hands going. Right? You notice Tszyu has hand speed. Right? That's the other thing from the tape. Right? Tszyu's in third gear most of the time. Here he's in fourth gear. The referee is saying to Joey Spencer, who I believe the ref knew was dazed but not badly hurt, was still in the fight until this moment. The ref is yelling at Joey, saying basically, show me something. In other words, you've got to throw something back. This can't be a Tszyu is throwing combinations and you're just there getting hit. Right? You gotta show me, show the judges that you're still in this fight. Right? The ref basically saying to him, look, if you don't throw something back, I'm going to have to stop this fight. So this is your opportunity. Do something. And understand, Joey, because he is too parallel, is smothered. Tszyu is going with both hands. Joey doesn't have a hand free. So Joey is in the worst possible position. He can't clinch, right? We've all seen fighters clinch. Lawrence Okolie is one of the best clinchers in boxing, right? Okolie gets hurt, he finds a way to tie you up, right? Obviously, Joey Spencer has not looked at Lawrence Okolie films, right? Spencer is there, he's not clinching. Think about it. Tszyu has both hands going. Joey can't even grab a hand. You want to see a great clinching moment in the sport that saved an unbeaten record? Shane Mosley hits Floyd Mayweather so hard that Mayweather's knees visibly buckle. Visibly buckle. So then Mayweather understood, I need to grab one of these guys' arms. Right, folks? Mayweather was lucky to make it out of that round. Mayweather grabs Mosley's arm and understood, I need to hold this. Let's just say Joey Spencer in the moment was dazed and confused. He must not have watched Floyd Mayweather films. So Spencer is there. He doesn't have a hand free because he's too parallel to Tszyu. Tszyu has guns blazing with both hands. Understand, they're both hearing the ref, right? The ref's yelling at them, and Tszyu understands. The ref's concerned, right? The ref's concerned. Now, I need for folks to understand, Tszyu opening up doesn't mean that Tszyu doesn't have confidence in his power. Right? No, this is a strategy that guys save for exactly this moment. You want to know a power puncher who always will jump in the pocket and start to throw combinations if he has you badly hurt? 175-pound champion David Benavidez. Right? Benavidez can slug. Benavidez can take you out. But if you ever look as dazed and confused as Joey Spencer did against Tszyu, Benavidez will jump in the pocket and suddenly, just like with Tszyu, you'll see hand speed you didn't know Benavidez had. Right? This is the right way to do it. Because understand, if you start to throw a flurry, whether or not you're hurting the guy, if you are flurrying with both hands and it looks like, 5, 6, 7 punches have landed in a row, the ref's going to be under pressure, particularly in 2025's boxing, to stop the match. Right? The guy getting hit with the shots is going to look defenseless. Now, I'm not here saying that Joey Spencer was alert. Right? I'm not here saying that 25-year-old Joey Spencer had the experience to know how to clinch Tszyu. Right? To, go back, bounce off the ropes, walk to the middle of the ring to buy time, have a hand free, just start throwing random shots at Tszyu. Who cares if they land or not? The ref's telling you, you got to show me something for this fight to continue. You got to show him something. You don't have a plan B. There's no option where you don't throw punches and you let Tszyu continue to hit you, whether or not you're getting hurt. Now, it's unfortunate. I know people are going to disagree with me. That's okay. Right? The ref gave Spencer a full opportunity. In fact, so much of an opportunity that in a fight in Australia against Tszyu, the referee did not stop the fight. Right? The fight didn't stop because the ref pulled the plug, even though Tszyu lands a bunch of shots on Joey Spencer. No, the fight stopped because Joey Spencer's corner panics. Right, folks? Tszyu does have a punch. But I don't believe he has a punch when he's throwing a combination like that. Right? Tszyu there is just letting his hands go. He's not loading up on shots. This is Spencer's opportunity against a fighter who's older, who's throwing a lot of punches, who might actually need time to recover. This is your fighter's opportunity to beat one of the biggest names in the division. Believe it or not, this fight stops because Joey Spencer's corner threw in the towel. Right, folks? I was shocked. I'm not saying the fourth round was one of Spencer's best rounds. I'm not saying Spencer was even able to throw punches at the referee's urging. He was overwhelmed in the moment. Right? But let's just say what Spencer should have considered doing was taking a knee. Right? If he takes a knee, his corner doesn't throw in the towel. Whether the fight continues would be up to his conversation with the referee after he gets a few seconds on the canvas to clear his head. Right? Spencer needed a reset. Instead, his corner, I thought, panicked and threw in the towel. Right? I feel bad for Spencer. I'm not saying he was doing better than Tszyu in the fight. But what I am saying is simply he made some mistakes that could have been corrected. In other words, if he took a knee, he might have thought to himself, you know what, I can't be this parallel to this guy. He should also know when I get hurt, Tszyu is going to come in with both guns blazing. He's going to try to beat me on volume. I need to pick a side, right hand, left hand, and then I need to just move forward, go in a crouch, and grab him. I need to find a way to clinch this man I need to be more mindful of how I'm going to clinch and not wait until it's the top of the ninth inning and I'm hurt and confused and the guy is throwing a combination. Right? I thought the corner should have, given him a little bit more time. The corner might have even, and maybe this happened, had hand signals that they could communicate to the fighter to let the fighter know, player, take a knee. Right? Understand, too, when you see fights like this where the older fighter is throwing as many punches as Tszyu is to try to get the stoppage in that fourth round, we've all seen what happens when that fighter is forced to come out for the next round. Again, let me name an iconic fight. Anthony Joshua against Vladimir Klitschko. Joshua drops Klitschko. Klitschko gets off the canvas. Joshua throws a lot of heavy lefts. Klitschko, KG vet, survives the round. Then Joshua's dead in the water. Right? Klitschko ends up dropping Joshua. Joshua gets up, is dead in the water. One wonders, by the way, in that moment, why didn't Klitschko run over like Tszyu did here and just throw a lot of punches? Whether or not Joshua's blocking the punches, whether or not Joshua is badly hurt, the visual would have been devastating. Right? The crowd would think Joshua has nothing left. Joshua's just been hit with 4 or 5 punches in a row. The ref should stop this fight. Instead, Klitschko took a different approach. Right? Klitschko goes over there, you don't know what he was thinking. He didn't throw a lot of punches. He had his brother in his corner, Vitaly Klitschko, who was telling him, hey, look at his muscles. He's going to be tired. He's not going to recover. Tszyu wasn't taking that chance. He knew he was in against a puncher. He had that puncher dazed. He went over there. He emptied the gun. Joey Spencer didn't know how to clinch. Joey Spencer's too parallel. Joey Spencer couldn't get a hand free. Joey didn't even have the knowledge base to think, I'm dazed. It's only the 4th round. Let me take a knee. I have several more rounds to try to catch this man. We're not even in the second half of the fight. Anyway, that's the fight I saw. It's interesting footage, right? The corner, I'm sure, is working with their fighter on what to do in situations like that. Spencer was just too young. Boxing is a craft. And older guys, by the time they get to their late 20s, let's just say they think about things like getting a hand free, clinching, taking a knee, right? Spinning to the middle of the ring, even just reaching out and pushing the guy throwing punches just to show the referee, hey, I'm present. I'm in the moment. I know where I am. I know what's happening. Spencer did none of that. And even though the ref did not pull the plug, his corner did. Those are my thoughts. Let me hear yours in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.